It is finally happening. The thing I've been saying I'm going to do for literally 2 years. I'm quitting social media in 2026. I am so excited. I'm scared, but excited. Hello everybody, welcome back to another Vlogmas episode. If you are new here, hi, my name is Erin. I am a northern living, sustainability, slow living, homestead wannabe YouTuber based in northern Canada in the Yukon. I am so excited that you decided to click on this video and hang out with me today. And if you're a returning viewer, hello friend, thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Today we are going to be talking about my biggest kind of goal for 2026, which is quitting Instagram and TikTok, getting my brain back, quitting my phone addiction, and just having more time to live and be a functioning member of society in 2026. I wrote some notes, so let's get into it, shall we? We're not messing around. So, breaking my phone addiction in 2026. I am very much addicted to my cell phone. I check it all the time. I am constantly just clicking on Instagram, scrolling for a second and then being like, what the heck am I doing? I didn't want to go on this. Like, why am I here? Finding myself on my apps like that all the time. When I'm out of service, I literally will scroll through my photos just to like get that same feeling of scrolling and like the dopamine that I want to have. So it's seriously a problem and I hate it. And I feel like whenever I'm out of service and I'm away from my phone, I just feel mentally so much better, so much clearer. I can focus better. I enjoy like reading and doing art and just like sitting in silence and hanging out with the dogs. And I just want to be able to do that in day-to-day life. So I think I need to just get rid of Instagram and TikTok and just have no social media actually on my phone. I recently read this book, like probably 6 months ago, I read the book Stolen Focus by Johann. I'll put a picture here. And it literally changed my life. If you have not read this book yet, I would highly recommend. I'm not normally a nonfiction person. I hate nonfiction books, honestly, but this one was very worth the read. So I would very much recommend if you have not read it. So there were a lot of like really interesting facts and statistics that I had highlighted in this book, and I'll just read out a couple of them for you just so that you can kind of get a better grasp of like how bad phone addictions are. It's honestly kind of crazy. So at the time of the book, it said that the average person will spend 12 years on their phone. Realistically, it's probably more like 15 years now, which is absolutely insane. Like, I was having this conversation with Nathan maybe like 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about how like when you talk to your grandparents or you talk to somebody who's, you know, of an older generation, they have so many stories to share and they always just like, their lives seem so full and like they did so much, right? And then you think about your life and you're like, well, what am I doing? Like I go to work and then I come home and I watch TV and I scroll on my phone and I go to bed, you know? And like, I don't want to be 80 talking to like grandchildren or whatever and be like trying to remember what my life was like. And instead of remembering my life, just remember all these like influencers and like their day in the life vlogs and like what they were doing. Like I want my life to be so full that I don't even want to go on social media because I don't need to. I just want to have control of my life again, I think is what I want. So yes, 12 years on average on your phone in your lifetime. That is absolutely crazy and terrifying. This was also a really interesting statistic that I saw in that book. It was in 1986, the information that you were kind of like being hit with through radio and TV and newspapers and everything was totaled at around 40 newspapers worth of information a day. And in 2007, we were getting hit with 174 newspapers worth of information a day. So I mean, now in 2025, it's gotta be like 500 newspapers a day. I'm not 100% sure what it would be, but it's got to be just like a disgusting amount of information that we are constantly being hit with. And that is not normal. Like that is not something that we are evolutionarily built to like be able to manage and maintain. I feel like that's one of the reasons why I'm just so exhausted and I mentally feel so fried all the time. It also kind of talked about how we lack depth in a lot of the information that we have now, because I mean, if you're getting so much information, you don't have time or energy to be able to actually deep dive into things. So you just have this surface level understanding of everything, which doesn't encourage curiosity or like working with your brain and trying to understand things deeply, which I think is very important too. So that was a crazy fact. Okay, another one that I thought was wild and is a huge one for me, I feel like, is the ability to focus on things for extended periods of time. So technically, this was a fact that I thought was crazy. So it takes 23 minutes for you to get back to the same state of focus if you lose your focus on something. So it takes you 23 minutes to kind of like get into focus. And average students switch tasks every 65 seconds. So that pretty much means that we are never actually in like an extended state of focus. Like if you are doing something and then you check your phone, and you're doing something and you get a notification, and you're doing something and you get an email, you're constantly switching back and forth, and you literally are never actually getting into like a focused state where you can like deeply focus on what you're doing. And I totally notice this, like when I'm charting at work, I will be just kind of like doing a bunch of things at once, and I find it takes me so much longer, and it just like, my notes are always a bit like all over the place when I do that. Definitely notice this for sure. Okay, this was another one I thought was crazy. People aren't really experiencing like flow states anymore. So state of flow, if you don't know, is kind of like when you're challenged just enough and enjoying yourself just enough that you kind of like forget about where you are and what you're doing outside of the exact task that you're doing. So for me, I find I recently have experienced flow state when I'm doing pottery because it's challenging, but it's not too challenging for me, and I can totally lose track of time and just like completely 100% focus on what I'm doing. Another flow state that I used to experience was reading, but since technology and like the lack of my ability to focus, pretty much, I haven't really been able to find flow state with reading. Like I used to be able to literally read for hours and hours and hours, and I would daydream and I would be picturing the book in my head like a movie, and I would just completely, like my mom would be like, hey Erin, and I would be so focused on my book that I could not hear her. Like that is unheard of for me now. I would never be able to get back into that state at this moment in time. So one of the statistics in the book said in 2017, the average American spent 17 minutes reading and 5.4 hours on their phone. And reading is one of the simplest and most calming forms of flow. And this has been like seriously for me declining since 2018. Like I remember in 2018, I was reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I was focused on those books. Like I read those books all day. And since then, I haven't really been able to find that like state of flow that I was in. Something that also became popular around like 2019 is TikTok. So, you know, could be a correlation there for me at least. Another interesting fact is that mind wandering is actually extremely important for creativity and for forming like thoughts in your brain. And I find, for me at least, if I'm doing a bunch of stuff at home or like focused on my cell phone, I never really have my good ideas then. I always have had all my best ideas when I'm outside on a hike and I have no access to my phone. I will always just be thinking about something for a while, and two thoughts will just rub together and I'll, bing, have a really good idea. And I feel like that is something that people are missing out on now because people aren't allowing themselves to be bored and to have their minds wandering. Sorry, Mose's itching himself right next to my camera. And then I just want to make sure that people know that this isn't like an attack at anybody for being obsessed with their phone or addicted to their phone. Like there have been billions and billions of dollars put into the tech industry and making sure that people are as addicted to their phones as they possibly can be. So like it's not our fault necessarily that we feel so compelled to use our phones, but I do think that we need to kind of like take a step back and for me personally, I need to really fight back against it because I am noticing so many of the negative effects. So what am I changing in 2026 to break my phone addiction? First off, I am going to be deleting Instagram and TikTok, which is very difficult for me. This has been a difficult decision. I have like 140,000, I think, followers across both platforms. So I mean, I make money from there. I've used it for a decade, but it's happening. I'm done. I am deleting them from my phone. I will not be going on them. What are you doing? Come here. Got my little buddies. 2, I will be using YouTube and Substack for their long form capabilities. Guys, do we have to fight right now? Do we have to fight? Can we just chill? I know, I called you over. It's my fault. So that means long form videos on YouTube and essays on Substack. But I will not be having them on my phone either, because I find when they're on my phone, I will kind of scroll through the notes or scroll through shorts and stuff, and I don't want to be doing that. So no social media or like social apps at all on my phone. I also have been doing the like not interested thing where you just like click not interested on shorts and it will like show you less shorts. So that's something I've been doing. So I haven't been seeing very many shorts on my YouTube account, which is awesome. I will also be bricking my phone. So I have this thing called a brick. There we go. It's just this tiny little brick essentially, and you stick it on your fridge or wherever it's magnetic, and you tap your phone on it and it blocks whatever apps. So I'm gonna be doing this for like email and editing apps and that kind of thing that I will just kind of find myself scrolling on aimlessly when I'm out and about. So one of these is great. Also, if you're not even wanting to quit social media or anything, get one of these. They're awesome. They really work. Like one time I bricked my phone and then I went to a 12-hour shift at work and I was like, wow, I can't do anything on my phone at work. And it was it was actually really nice and forced. So would recommend. I'm also going to be deleting shopping apps off my phone because I find that when I can't go on social media, I will just kind of scroll through like Sephora and Indigo and stuff. So I'm gonna get rid of those because I don't need them on my phone. Like if I want to buy something, I can go onto my laptop. I'm also going to be trying to reduce my task switching. So like if I'm doing something, focus on that task until it's completed. So if I'm charting at work, focus on my charting until it's done. Then I can do something else. If I'm cleaning the house, clean the house, finish the dishes, whatever it is. Don't like jump between a bunch of things. I also find this for books. Like I'll get bored of a book really quickly, or I'll feel like, oh, I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the right mood to read this book. No, that's just because I have terrible attention span because of social media and TikTok and scrolling. Like I can read one book at a time. It's not that hard. I managed to read one book at a time my entire life. I can go back to that. I don't want any phone or screens in general. I don't normally have screens other than my phone in the bedroom, but no phone in the bedroom. I find that when my phone's not in the bedroom, I don't reach for it. I don't care about it. I don't think about it. When it is in the bedroom, it's the first thing I pick up, and it's the last thing I put down at the end of the day. So if it's not in the room, there's no temptation. And finally, I think I kind of want to do like a computer room again, you know? Like laptops are nice and all, but you know what's also nice? Having an area where you go on the internet and then a way to leave that area and a way to leave the internet. You know what I mean? So we are gonna have this like hobby room in our house, and I might just set up a computer space in there, and that can be my computer room, and that will be where I edit videos and write Substack and like do whatever I need to do online. And then when I'm gone from the computer room, that's it. I'm done. I don't need to think about it anymore. So yes, that is kind of my rundown on what I plan on doing in 2026 to break my phone addiction. Let me know if you have any other ideas, or you know, if you're gonna try this at all, if you have successfully deleted social media or, you know, no longer addicted to your phone, please let me know. I think it's gonna be pretty difficult, honestly, and I think I'm gonna go through some like actual withdrawals. The dopamine receptors in my brain are definitely messed up. So it might take some time to, you know, get back to how I felt when I was younger. Maybe I'll never be able to get back exactly to how I felt when I was younger, but hopefully can take a couple steps in the right direction. I will definitely be posting more videos about this and kind of updating you guys as time goes about, you know, how it's going and my difficulties and the things that are easy and all that stuff. So let me know if you have any questions that you want me to answer in the future. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you're gonna also be quitting Instagram and TikTok in 2026. I will chat with you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 8, I think, or 9. I don't even know. I don't even know what day it is today. Maybe 9. I hope you're having an amazing December so far. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.